This is Windows, but it's actually redesigned by AI, or at least that's the goal for today. So in this video, I want to find out if AI can actually help me turn default Windows into a full custom desktop setup that looks clean, modern, futuristic, and simply better than anything Microsoft ever came up with. Now the tool that is actually going to help us here is Codex, which is OpenAI's coding agent. It works directly on your desktop, which means it can write, save, and edit files on your PC, making this perfect for our project. So let's actually see. Can Codex help me build a complete Windows customization setup from scratch? Like a custom background, redesigned taskbar, start menu, notification area, a top bar, and even some custom Rainmeter widgets. Let's hope we don't get some fine AI slap that destroys Windows once you press a wrong button. So stick around, because in the end we will see if the AI actually cooks something great, and you can decide if letting Codex redesign Windows was actually a good idea. And for every area we change, I'll also show you how you can set up the AI design on your own system too. Okay, but now let's kick off this experiment by customizing the wallpaper. For the visual direction, I thought of a fractal glass-like wallpaper with a cool color gradient. So let's just ask Codex first if he can generate that. And this is the first design. Honestly, it's not terrible, but it's nothing like I had in mind. It looks more like a wallpaper from 20 years ago. To be fair though, my prompt probably also was pretty shit. Also, I think you can't really see this here, but the wallpaper unfortunately just doesn't look like proper 4K. So Codex kind of failed the first test here. Luckily though, Photoshop now also lets you generate proper 4K images with Nano Banana 2.0, which I've heard is one of the best tools for this right now. So this time, let's first prepare a much better prompt with some more context inside ChatGPT. After some interesting results, this was one of the designs it came up with, which I actually liked. I will add the image to the resources for this video, so you can simply save the image on your system and apply it as your wallpaper by right-clicking it and hit select set as desktop background. By the way, you can download the folder with all the resources from my website here linked below. After a few more prompts, I also got this variant which looks a bit cleaner in my opinion, so I think I am going with this one for now. Of course, I will also provide this for you to download. To actually change the look of these UI elements with the code from Codex, we need to use a third-party app you might already know called Windhawk. Windhawk basically lets us modify parts of Windows with some custom code. So let's quickly install it from the website, which I of course provided for you down below. When you got the exe file, you simply need to run it and follow through with the process to set the app up. First, let's see if it can make our taskbar look as cool as this. So let's get the taskbar styler in Windhawk here. Click install and then ignore this warning, as this app is less dangerous than a guinea pig. With that done, let's get coding. This time let's directly make a good prompt with ChatGPT first so we don't waste time again. My idea is to have a taskbar with 3 segments for widgets, apps, and the system tray. Okay, so this right here is the first code Codex provided us with, so let's copy that and move over to Windhawk. Let's go to settings, and I think here I have to click on textual mode. Yeah, this looks right. Let's replace the code with our version, and this is definitely not what I asked for. Maybe I can help Codex out with a visual reference of how the taskbar is actually supposed to look. So let's paste in the new code again and activate it. And well, this somehow looks even worse than before. But hey, at least we have 2 separate islands now. Wow! With the next iteration, we at least got a bit closer. The third island finally has some background now, but Codex is still clearly struggling to recreate the exact look I wanted. And honestly, I had to wrap it up at this point, because this took way more prompts than I expected, and I was genuinely crashing out. But after all of that, we finally ended up with this design, and I actually think it looks pretty good, and comes surprisingly close to what I had in mind. To install it on your PC, you just need to open this txt file from the resource folder linked below, and in it you simply copy all the code. Then go to Windhawk and in the mod setting, go to advanced, paste the code in and hit save, and you got it installed. Now let's also redesign the start menu to something cool. First though, we have to get back into Windhawk and install the start menu styler the same way than before. This time though, let's directly let ChatGPT write a great prompt so we don't waste time again. Okay, let's go to Codex and paste in the prompt in a new chat so we keep things organized here. Now let's copy the newly generated code, paste it into the start menu styler, activate it, and yeah, disappointment again. This basically looks like the default start menu, just somehow worse and in a weird light mode version. By the way, the next iteration isn't better either. So I think we should give Codex a bit more context on how you actually build a good Windows start menu design with some existing custom code. And look, it actually got better, but let's try to make it smaller and give it a nice layout. Now, after a few iterations, I actually got this really great design, which is almost perfect, except the weird cut here. But fortunately, I could fix this easily to get to this masterpiece of a start menu. To set it up on your PC too, again just copy the code from the txt file I put in the resources folder and place it in the advanced settings of the start menu mod. Once you save the settings, you can also appreciate this gorgeous design. Now we only have one missing piece left of the Windows UI, the notification menu, so let's also try to make it look stunning with AI. For this, there is also another Windhoek mod available again, so let's hit install and ignore the warning again to get it installed. As we learned from the last attempts, let's directly give Codex a clear visual direction and some reference code this time, so it doesn't try to implement something that is just blatantly wrong again. Let's grab the code now and go back into Windhoek, where we can paste it into the usual area. And okay, this actually doesn't look that bad. It mostly seems like a padding issue, so this should hopefully be a quick fix. And I guess I was wrong again, because Codex actually managed to give me code with literally invalid commands for the fix. Please, somebody help me. Let's see if this next iteration finally works. So let's copy it and replace the old code again. Nice, this actually looks really great. I think we can call this one finished. The transparency, colors, and overall glass look are exactly what I wanted here. Of course, you can use this code again by opening this txt file in the resource folder. As before, copy everything and place it in the advanced settings of the notifications Windhoek mod. For a quick recap, I think the current setup with the AI wallpaper in the redesigned UI elements already looks surprisingly great. It feels quite premium with the glass effects, the transparency, and the overall color scheme. But stay tuned for the next changes of custom widgets and the AI design top bar. So, while I was using Codex for all this customization stuff, I stumbled upon this feature which lets you actually use it remotely from your phone. That made me thinking, what if I had a PC that was always on running Codex so I could write emails automatically or schedule tasks from anywhere? The only problem? I don't exactly have a low energy PC just lying around. Luckily, today's sponsor stepped in at the perfect time. This is the Ace Magic N3A, a hybrid NAS and mini PC system that is the perfect fit for my idea. Taking it out of its safely packed box, it almost felt like a workout as it's quite heavy, but that's simply because the N3A is built with a super premium sturdy metal casing. Great, but where do I put my drives now? Well, as it turns out, this cover here simply magnetically pops off with a satisfying click to reveal 4 3.5-inch drive bays where you can just slide your drives in. It's so easy, even your dog couldn't mess it up. Beside the main device, you get the 120-watt power brick, an HDMI cable, and the quick start guide giving you all you need to set up this sleek, modern, and simply beautiful NAS. So let's actually set it up. Turning around the NAS, we can find dual 2.5 gigabit Ethernet ports, which should make moving massive video files around like a piece of cake. Next to those chonkers are also 4 USB ports, a HDMI port, a display port, a headphone jack, and even a TF card reader. Internally, you can spec this thing out with up to 64GB of RAM and 2 M2 NVMe SSDs. If you fully max it out, you're looking at a theoretical 136TB of storage. At the back, you can also find a fan that keeps those drives cool while still being relatively quiet. Under the hood here, it's packing an AMD Ryzen embedded R2544 CPU with 4 cores and 8 threads. It runs up to 3.7 GHz and also has integrated graphics, almost making this overkill for a typical NAS setup. Still, as it's an embedded chip, this thing is a power efficiency king. For my basic AI idea, this is enough. Now let's actually plug it in. Looks like this device comes with Windows 11 Pro pre-installed. And hear me out, this is actually huge because most NAS systems lock you into their own proprietary software. With the N3A, however, you have maximum OS freedom. You can stick with Windows, which for my remote Codex idea is actually the perfect fit, or for a more classic NAS setup, you can still install TrueNAS, Open Media Vault, or Unraid. So software and hardware wise, the N3A has all you could ask for. If you're looking for a powerful flexible NAS that won't break the bank, the Ace Magic N3A is a fantastic choice. Check out the link in the description to grab yours. Okay, let's get back to the video and see how good Codex can design a proper top bar for Windows with some custom features like resource monitoring, quick shortcuts, weather, and maybe even a full power menu. But before we can test any of that, we first need an actual app that can place a top bar on Windows. For this, we're going to use an app called Yasb. We can get it from the GitHub page, which I have linked down below. On there, let's go to the releases section, download the latest release, and then simply run the exe file and follow through with the installation. Unfortunately though, this app also requires nerd fonts, which are important for displaying the custom icons properly, because without them, half the top bar would just look like some alien text combination nobody's supposed to understand. So if you don't have them already, go back to the GitHub page, click on installation, and from there click on JetBrains Mono to download the font pack. Now this should give you a zip folder with all the font files. First, right-click it and extract it to a folder of your choice. Then select all the font files at once. Right-click on one of them, go to Show More Options and hit Install to install all the fonts at once. Okay, so now we can get back to our favorite AI tool ChatGPT to write us a banger prompt again that we can simply copy and put into Codex. After a bit of code writing, Codex actually asked us this time if it should implement the custom code directly into the app, and of course we accept that and trusted that the PC will not explode after this. crazy, it looks like this time we actually got something in the direction what we want with the first try. I can only find minor issues here, like this weird corner bug and this bug on the weather menu, plus of course the design is a lot unorganized right now. So I guess let's give it some clear instructions what he needs to fix. Now I would say it looks a bit better from the layout and design, but why are these damn Imperial units here? Let's get rid of them. While doing that, Codex suddenly went into hacker mode and started taking screenshots on my home screen to check if it looks good. Honestly, this is really crazy, but I mean it worked. Take a look at that finished setup. We got a clean upload speed widget, a battery widget, some system information, a weather and calendar pop-up, a ChatGPT shortcut, and even a clean shot off menu. Great work by Codex here actually. If you want to use this yourself, all you have to do is copy both of these files out of the Yasb folder in the resource pack I gave you. Then open up your system tray, right click on Yasb and click open config. Now paste the files in and let it replace the old versions. With that you should have this great design too. Last but not least, let's see if Codex can also build some cool widgets like a clock module, a weather widget, a media player, and let's also try building a YouTube channel widget. But first let's start with hopefully the easiest widget to build, the clock widget. So let's have a look at Codex's first iteration, and what the hell is this? It somehow managed to fail at building the easiest widget of the entire setup, but okay, let's give it another chance, because this cannot be the best it has. And I think Codex didn't want to live with that failure either, because it immediately went back into cooking mode and started coding with screenshots again. Now this is what it came up with. It's not really what I wanted, but at least it works now. So let's give Codex some visually better ideas. And I would say this already looks quite promising, but why the heck would I need 2 time and 2 date displays? Let's ask again that he fix this and make it fit better to the wallpaper colors. Now this is perfection, great blue accents and unique but bold typography. This is exactly what I was looking for. So now we can move on to the next widget, the weather widget. And this one should be a bit harder because unlike the clock, it actually needs to pull real data from an API. So before we try anything too crazy, I'll start with a simple prompt first. And honestly, for once, it actually didn't disappoint. Except for some minor padding issues, this looks really good and it works. You can even change your location in a quick menu, or you can open the settings and put your own coordinates in. After a few fixes for the padding and the transparency effects, this widget turned out really well. Last but not least, I also wanted to build a media widget, and as a cool add-on, I also wanted a widget that shows you stats of a YouTube channel of your choice. So let's try that both at once with the next prompt. Cool, I can allow some totally non-suspicious tasks again. And with that, we also now have these 2 sleek widgets, and again, surprisingly, they don't look that bad. Let's try entering my channel here. And nice, we have 500 million subs now, love to see it. Okay, but at least after a short rework it works now. And the media widget also looks like it's working great. This is now the final look after some small last changes, and honestly Codex worked really well here. You have a cool visualizer and the stats are really interesting for the channel. If you like the widgets too, you just have to download Rainmeter from the website linked below and then follow through with the simple installation process. After that, you just have to run the rmskin file I put in the resource folder. This should start the widget installation. Make sure to select this option here too for the glass background of the widgets. Now this is the whole setup. Would you say Codex pulled off a great modern and useful design here, or did it create some fine AI slop? If you ask me, I honestly really like the glass aesthetic and general vibe of the setup, and it looks surprisingly clean. I mean, I had to help him quite a bit in some areas, but honestly it already worked pretty well. So let me know in the comments what you think, and with that said, consider a sub, like the video, and see you in the next one.